These are the tales and ramblings of two men, their dream of running a successful food truck business and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
Powered by Riverside.
Oops. Close enough. All right, Skippy.
Joshua,
How the hell are you today?
you know what? I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm alive.
That's my line normally.
Finishing my taxes today.
I just finished mine yesterday. I told my mom, and mom's like, nothing like waiting until the last minute. I'm like, well, I still had tomorrow.
I had Friday slated to finish them, but we'll get to Friday in a little while.
Yeah. So it doesn't Friday wouldn't have been a good day to do this.
That might
Okay.
have been the end of Josh if I tried to squeeze that in.
Yeah, I would probably agree. Probably
So-
agree.
Welcome everybody. As always, we're live on the YouTube. We are trying to do this streaming thing again on TikTok, on my TikTok channel, Sweet Rex Smoking Butts Barbecue. So you can get us all those places, or obviously the Riverside app. So Skippy, it does appear to be that the screen sharing thing. Oh, and now I have it again. It was off for a second before we went live because it said someone else was sharing already,
Yes.
and now it's not there.
Yes, I see that.
I thought maybe it was because TikTok is sharing a screen that it wasn't going to allow that loop, but we'll see. We'll see how this all works. I actually had somebody come up to the trailer on, I think it was yesterday, that said they had watched the live stream on TikTok,
Oh, cool.
and it was asking all kinds of questions about the podcast because they hadn't seen the podcast or heard about the podcast through other channels. So
Awesome.
hopefully they come to listen again and we can build. Update on all our rankings. At one point in time, we were top 200 in India, Taiwan, and are you ready?
Hold on. I'm assuming it's somewhere in the Western Hemisphere. Or is it the Eastern Hemisphere? Nigeria.
The U.S.
Woo! All right, I'll take it. Josh, we'll give us a round of applause. See, round of applause.
Welcome JT, who's listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, I guess. Morning, he says. Here to shig for Bubba's and my Monday afternoon food truck podcast. First topic is bark overrated.
Bark is overrated.
Oh God, we're in it.
That's fine. Y'all can have your own. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Or
Here's my. I'll throw in my 2 cents.
we're going to talk about it in a little bit.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
We're actually gonna do that topic today.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, absolutely.
All
Love
right.
controversy.
Oh, I'm gonna turn this over to Skippy for his week in review while I drink my Apple Jack's milk. Skippy, how was your week?
Slow. Welcome to the. Okay, well that didn't work.
You and I had very different weeks.
True. You had a very eventful week, and I had slowness. No, slow. It's just it's starting. Let's put it this way: it's starting to pick up. When we make the decisions to start things that nobody really knows about, and we have to. This was the opening week of our Jackson Area Food Truck Association food truck rallies, and I was told that the Wednesday one, which was from like 11 to 2, there was 4 trucks there, and each one of them probably had 20 sales apiece. So not horrible, but not life-changing. And then, of course, Friday was supposed to be our food truck rally for restaurant week, or the end of restaurant week. It said the rain was supposed to stop at around 2:30. We were going to be open at 4. It kept spitting until about 6. And then the 40-mile-an-hour gust of winds picked up, and I thought my trailer was going to roll down a hill. Otherwise, I appreciate the people that braved the weather. We did have regulars that came out. The brisket Philly was by far the number one seller. And go ahead, JT, you can steal that one too. And other than that, Saturday we rolled into a brewery that we'd never been to. They had live music. They were looking for a food truck, so we stepped up, didn't have anything planned. And we rolled out our online ordering through Square. And I wish there was a way that you could take a menu from your menu section in Square and automatically copy it over to the online ordering. That would be
use that same POS. Let's like transfer the whole screen over.
Just move it. Like instead of individually adding categories and items and excuse my language, but bullshit. It took me 6 hours of like nonstop doing stuff.
And that's not that bad, really, Skippy. I'll play devil's advocate as an IT guy. That's not that bad.
That's why I'm not an IT guy. So I don't have to spend 6 hours doing it. Anyway.
Can some constructive criticism?
Oh, God. Yeah, please. Sure.
That may help. I know there is the option for pictures.
Yes, I do. I definitely need pictures. Again, I didn't have any.
Right.
So I just kind of went with, I'm lucky I got the descriptions in. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But especially for an online order where they're not getting the ambience of the truck and everything, where you may not need pictures because you can sell the sandwich a little bit better.
These were, and here's the other thing too, is the website.
Mm-hmm.
To make it clickable, you don't need www up front. You need the https : // I didn't freaking know that. There's nothing that says that if you want to post it on Facebook. So I was like, I put just the link that they gave me. That didn't work because Facebook won't go. It'll work if you just type it into your Safari or Google or whatever. Yeah. But Facebook's a pile of shit.
That's so just for future reference for you, that's pretty standard. Whenever you do, when you want to do a hyperlink on any website, you need the full website. For whatever reason.
Oh, it loves the Barbecue Superstore when you tag them in shit.
For whatever reason. Because everybody loves the Barbecue Superstore. Will you stop bashing the Barbecue Superstore? Jesus.
I love the Barbecue Superstore. You kidding me?
I can tell.
I plugged them this week.
When you're as big as they are, maybe your name will pop up just as easily.
Exactly. I'm hoping Mark and Rich are listening. Anyway, so I finally figured it out because the brewery that we were at actually put the HTTPS in front of it, and it worked. And I still couldn't figure out why theirs did and mine didn't. So I finally did it, and they're like, "Oh, yay!" So my feeling about when it's done, I like it. I like that they got to put their contact information in. I like that they can sign up for like marketing emails or whatever. I like that once you mark the item as complete, it rings them and tells them to come get it. I think that's awesome. Because I know a pizza guy that we had on our podcast that sends out like a text message or something, like personally. So I like all the stuff around it. What I didn't like, out of the 8 orders we got, I think only like 2 of them tipped. And I don't know if it's just because they knew I was the owner or whatever. I do think that if they think you're the owner, that they're not going to tip you, but that's another feeling.
Did you place an order yourself?
I did.
So you saw the whole flow of everything, and
I did, and I had
the
my
tipping
wife
was the tipping was prominent.
Yes, it was definitely there.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember because I know on ours when I first had it go for when we did our Super Bowl thing.
Yeah.
When I did my test, gratuity was automatically added. I was like, well, can't have that.
Okay, so yes, it kind of is.
So it
kind of
has defaults to a certain percentage, and then you have to change it.
it brings up 3 percentages and then an other.
Okay.
And 15% is, or whatever you have listed. So if it's like 15, 20, 25, whatever, or 15, 18, 20, whatever, it's automatically clicked at 15%.
Yep.
You got to click other to go something else.
So they had to actively choose not to tip you.
Correct. Yes. Exactly.
That stinks
Absolutely.
a little.
It doesn't it though? It kind of hurts. But I genuinely, of the, I think the 8 orders, 6 orders, something like that we got, it worked out pretty good.
So I am not anti-tipping, but I understand some things. You did nothing in that preparation or service of the customer other than make the food to deserve a tip. I'm just saying. I understand where they're coming from. Yeah.
Sure. I understand that. And that's fine. At the end of the day, it is what it is. If you're going to tip, you're going to tip. If you're not, you're not. Like,
yep.
So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the catering gig I did last week. It was $2,000. It didn't tip anything, but that's beside the point. They gave me a 5-star Google review. So
I thought you were going to start doing automatic gratuities on catering.
I do for parties over 100.
How many do they have? Like 95?
Yeah, I think exactly is what they asked for. Yeah. No, we ran it. We said 100. We ran a tab. It is what it is. They're local in town. They said I can use their spot if I want to set up for lunch for the factories around the area. So
good.
Build a relationship. That's all I care about. But going back to that, yes, it was very. I like it. There are some I don't think it's as user friendly as not the customer side of things, but the maker, the owner side of things, the vendor side of things. I'm not sure it's as user friendly, but because I couldn't mark an item sold out to save my life, I couldn't figure out where the hell to do that. So I just hit it from the menu.
Are you using the same one I'm using?
Hope so.
The same register?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a long press, and then edit.
Long press on what?
On the button. So the item that you want to mark sold out.
So if it's ribs, right? So
yeah. So you hold your finger on ribs. You should get a tactical response.
Okay.
And there should be an edit option
on the register itself.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can actually do almost everything you can on the website. So you can change the price, you can change the description, all from there, and then you can mark it as unavailable.
Okay.
All right. And it'll mark it on it, so it'll gray it out on your screen, and it'll take it off the online.
Now, the one thing that does irritate me about online ordering, and I think you and I have had this discussion about it before. I posted about it in 2 food truck groups yesterday, so I'm waiting for responses. So one of them was the Square user group, the other one was a food truck training group. Okay, so you have loaded mac, right? So let's talk about brisket. You have brisket loaded mac, you have brisket dorachos, and you have like brisket sandwiches and wraps, correct? Okay. Yep. How can you mark, like, if I say I have, let's say, 20 orders of brisket at a certain thing.
Square can't do it.
I think
I've been able to find.
Well, I think it can, but it's more labor intensive.
So
I think what you almost have to do is create ingredients where,
I started going down that road, but the inventory piece of it only inventories items. So like you said, I have brisket dorachos, and I have brisket loaded mac, and I have a mouton Philly. So I have to set an inventory number for each one of those things. I can't just set an inventory number for brisket and say, when logically you think it would work that way. For my playing around in this last off season, I couldn't get it to work that way. So
a couple
because that's what I want too. That would be phenomenal.
Well, it would make a ton of sense, but it's like, why doesn't it
function that way? Yeah.
It would just make a ton of sense. And why would we want to make sense in things? So I'm waiting for a call today from my Square rep. So I'm going to ask her about it, but we're going to see. We're going to see what's up. Anyway.
All right.
So other than that, the last thing I did was at about 10:30 at night, I decided to go live on Facebook, and
I
I
saw
had
that.
had as much as 6 people watching, so I appreciate that. But
Nice.
I just trimmed a couple briskets.
Mm-hmm.
Just gave a little brisket trimming lesson ish on how I do it, not necessarily how everybody does it,
I watched it the following morning.
as other people like to point out. It's just how I do it. So
So are you going to do more live stuff?
I was actually going to do like live, like every night I prep, and just go from there. I think it'd be kind of neat.
No live in service stuff like you're seeing on TikTok.
If I'm busy, yes, maybe I'll do that. But if I'm
Well, if you're
just
busy, you're
sitting
not
there,
going to have time to start it.
I can figure it out. Yeah. Other than that, it was an okay week. My Brooklyn location is starting to pop up, so let's get back.
Good.
Let's get back.
Glad to hear that. All right.
What's going on with you?
Nothing.
What's going on? Like, what's?
It was a great week, man. Good Lord. Hold on, let me get it this second. I'm looking for a tab. I got too much stuff open. And then I closed that. Hold on. Bubba says he's just here for the brisket comments.
Good. Absolutely.
He says, why online ordering? What is the purpose when you can fill an order in 2 minutes? Skippy? I think you kind of touched on it at the beginning, but can you reiterate why you chose to do online ordering there?
Because it's cool. No, I did it because I was at a new brewery and they had live music. So that way all they have to do is come out, grab their food, and go back in. They don't have to wait. Yes, it does take 2 minutes, and I completely understand that. But if I happen to have a line 10 deep, that 2 minutes would turn into 10 minutes just waiting for food. So
yeah,
let's just take care of the customer.
And any way to make it easier for them in that kind of scenario where there is something going on inside that they don't want to necessarily leave, the quicker you can make it, the better, and the easier for them to get it, the better.
Not to mention where I was located. I mean, I could have had regulars place an order and just come pick it up too. So
yep.
They don't have to worry about standing in line. Sir.
I know we've had a lot of conversations about.
I can show you how to set
stuff.
it up if you want.
Who are you talking to?
Bubba.
Yeah, and like the biggest concern that we've seen online is the whole line cutting Starbucks thing, where you see a line and you just pop in an order online and you're cutting everybody else that hasn't ordered yet, type of thing. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. You can't stop it from happening, unless you just don't do online ordering. So, but
I think I think there's a benefit. That's why I did it.
Yeah, and you can mitigate when you start making that online order. You know, so
True.
You can choose to hold it for a couple minutes before you start making it, because on Square at least you can mark it as being prepared and then finished.
True.
So you have those two options. So they will get those notifications both when it's being prepared, when it's being started, and then when it's finished.
Only problem I don't like about that part is you actually have to click it being prepared.
Right.
So if you're working the truck, well, you don't.
That's your problem, is that you work the truck alone. Yeah.
So I went straight from ordered to done.
Done. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the fact that, okay, if I have 2 people that place an order and then one person at the window, I can get that one person at the window as I'm making the other 2 orders, and everybody's done at the same time.
Right.
So
yeah, you just have to be very conscious of how you're managing when you start those orders for, and we had a similar situation this week too. So, and I will get to that in just a second, but let's see here.
Yeah, you had a lot of sellout days.
We had 3 this week.
That's amazing.
3 this week, and we were a half a pan of pork from 2 others.
That's just be like you when I grow up.
Huh? You want to be me? Well, you said you wanted to beat me in sales this year, so you're gonna have to get going, buddy.
I'm still ahead of you.
Well, we're gonna pull numbers here in a little bit.
Whatever.
All right. Let's see here.
I'm getting a tax refund. What are you doing?
Probably not. Congratulations on your refund.
This is the first. Sorry, just to go into this real quick. This is the first year that I've shown that I haven't made anything to where I actually get the earned income credit. I feel like such a shithole.
Don't worry, the working class people will pick up your share of taxes.
And I appreciate all of you. I really do. As I swipe my EBT card somewhere. No. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Skippy's buying his truck stock with food stamps.
Was that possible?
All right. Jesus.
I think I'm getting a home eating credit too. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. So you're big time in this week. Yeah, good, just an excellent week.
We did.
Couldn't have been any better.
Our new locations are really, for the most part, really on point. So we had our normal. Oh God, I guess we can talk about this real quick. It was just an overall very eventful week for me. So we started out Tuesday at our location in Dutton, which is now the Great Lakes Insurance Building. I think we talked about me moving away from the gas station and the drama around that.
The other a-hole that was out there that cooks vomit mac and cheese.
Yeah, that guy. So one of our regular customers, a nice little old lady, who was a Gaines Township clerk before she retired, which is the township that all is in, which will also have control of that easement in between the two properties where we park. Anyways, so she comes up. She was asking about things and why we had to move because we hadn't seen her yet this year. And so we just told her that there was an issue with one of the business owners. She says, it wasn't Oscar Scott's, was it? I said, it might have been. She's like, oh, it's stuff like that he just gives Christians a bad name. I'm going to go talk to him. I said, you really don't need to do that. It's not a big deal. We're doing just fine down here. I don't want any drama from him. I didn't want any drama or issues with the township or the gas station. We were happy to move. It was not a big deal. And that's been my stance for the whole thing. We have never really publicly said him. Everybody just kind of knew. So she comes back down and she says, well, he says he never talked to the gas station. And it must have been the gas station that just didn't want us anymore.
Jeez.
I said, okay, whatever. That's if that's the story he wants, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Whatever. 2 seconds later, he comes walking around the corner. He said, I want to get this story straight. This is 3 minutes until we close to have to move a half an hour to our next location.
Boy.
I'm like, good God, great. Looking for my knives. So yeah, he says he never talked to the gas station. He's never had a problem with us setting up there. And that, as far as he's concerned, we're welcome and we're not even competitors. Which was the only truthful thing he said, because we're not competitors. We ain't the same. So yeah, and
is Chris back?
Chris is not on the trailer on Tuesdays, so that's his day off. Thank God, because he might have gone through the window.
That's kind of what I was worried about.
The number of times that he showed up at our truck last year complaining about how we were taking his customers, asking how we're able to set up there, trying to figure out why we're there and how we're there legally, was probably 4 to 5 conversations he had directly with us. And if he didn't talk to the gas station, then why, as soon as I pulled onto the property, there was people from his restaurant walking out and taking pictures of our trailer? So, whatever. Guy can kiss my ass. I don't care. But, so, lunch was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we moved on to the Grand Castle Apartments that evening, which is our second time there. We sold out the first time we were there, sold out again Tuesday night, and they were wanting us there every week. Not the management company, the people. We probably heard it from 5-6 different people wanting us there once a week. and that and they have food trucks there 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
So all good there. So of our 5 Tuesdays so far, we've sold out 4 of them.
Great.
Yeah, that Tuesday's been a good day this year, which is weird, but happy to have it. We were back in Grand Haven at the Corwell Health there. We were there all day, and that'll be the last time we're there past 2:00. We're not pulling anything from the Meijer, so 90% of the customers are from the staff inside, which is what we normally see at a Corwell. But with that location, we were hoping we'd get more traffic from the neighboring Meijer traffic. So it's just one of those things we learn and we move on. So I think it'll be a decent lunch. It's not going to be a great lunch spot, but it'll be a decent lunch spot. In hopes that it's en route to a couple of new locations that we're looking at that we're trying to squeeze in Muskegon. So it could be a good stepping stone north towards Muskegon for a dinner location.
Yeah.
Thursday, it rained. I don't know if anybody knows that. It rained a lot all day.
Yeah. I found a leak in my roof.
Your trailer roof?
Yeah, one of the fantastic fans I have needs to be
not so fantastic.
I mean, it's fantastic, but it needs to be sealed.
Is it a misting fan now?
Right.
Because that can be refreshing come July.
It was just not when it's on my porch and right above my smoker.
Huh. So yeah, we were down at MEC that day. We rolled out for them and allowed them to do text ordering because of the rain, to allow them to place an order and just come out and pick up their food real quick. So they still had to pay at the truck, but the amount of time they had to spend at the truck was significantly reduced in the rain. So we let them, my contact there, Gabby, let her know the night before. She sent out the email. My best guess is about 9:15 in the morning. We left my house at 8:30. We pull out the phone that's in the truck that we use for text ordering and all that other stuff. And there was 23 orders already placed.
Wow.
So, hey, Bernie just hopped on. He says, "What's up, fellas?" So clearly everybody placed an order the moment she sent out the email, which also included our special for the day. So we ran the Roadrunner eggs again. Thank God we didn't I think we had 2 orders by the time we got through, 2 orders left by the time we got through those text orders. So the downside of that. So yeah, then it's the point where, okay, we need to manage. How do we manage that? So Chris immediately put them all in. So before we open, 20 minutes before we open, I have a rail already full. I allowed one of the local companies to call in an order ahead of time because they get short lunches, and they were ordering for like 10 people, which was fine. We do that for them when they ask us to, because it's 10 orders. And they usually show up right at 11 to pick up. So we had that order and all these other orders. But what we do is we just text them manually when their food's ready, hey, start walking. The downside is all of our outside community people from that area also came in a pretty regular stream in the first half hour. So those 20 orders took us probably 40 minutes to get through, as we're kind of squeezing them in between the walk-up orders. Yep.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't the online ordering system be a better scenario? Because you can, I guess, give them updates, not have to worry about texting them or anything like that.
Because I still haven't gotten my location stuff to work right.
Oh, okay. And while we're talking, I changed the location.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just something I need to figure out. And I don't know if I screwed it up when I did multiple locations for our text, for when we did it for Super Bowl. Yeah. We had 2 different pickup locations. So I'm not sure if I screwed something up there. I just need to look into it further. So online's not ready.
But do you think that will alleviate that
if we
problem?
can get it to work the way I want it to? Yes, we would go that way versus text order.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, and I have the same concern as you do as about sold out items. How do you manage that? So
yeah, I mean, your specials you could do your Roadrunner eggs. You put 24 in there. I mean,
So-
that part's easy.
and
But
we even talked about not even allowing any of our specials for online ordering.
yeah,
So Easy Eats will send you a text to online orders when you hit the serve button. Yes.
Easy Eats. I've heard good things about that food truck training group. A lot of people use Easy Eats as a POS and
Yep.
kitchen display system.
It just
Anyway.
also says even if you can get orders out quickly anyway, that you can get your customers to order your food more easily is a plus. Absolutely, 100%. So especially for us, when the weather's not great, is really where we're kind of targeting that text order, or our healthcare places that we set up at. We're allowing them to text to order.
Gotcha.
And this way, it allows us to more easily manage when we choose to do online or text ordering too. So that number is not public. So as long as people aren't saving it into their phones and share it with everybody else, it works well for our purpose right now. Yeah. So and overall, it worked pretty good. We sold out in an hour and 20 minutes, and that was because of text ordering. We were supposed to be there for 3 hours. We were done in half the time. But because everybody utilized the text ordering, the orders came through in a much shorter period of time versus being spread out over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
They all came in a half an hour. So, yeah. I think we served probably the same number of people that we normally do, maybe a couple extra. But they just came in a much more condensed fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all we did on Thursday, was just the MEC building. Friday. Oh, Friday.
Yeah. Friday was a rainy day too.
Not for us. We had a little bit of rain in the morning, but it was all cleared out by 10 for us.
Nice.
Justin also says, also, when we do manufacturing plants, their breaks are staggered and they only have 45 minutes. So online ordering allows them to pick up the time that they usually go on break. Yep, exactly. So for our healthcare people, our nurses and stuff, they get about half an hour. So the quicker we can make it for them to get food and not to just bring in food because it's quicker, helps every bit. So I'm pretty much sold on it, and we'll continue working on it. But as of right now, I don't have the time to put more time into that when I clearly can't manage the 2 calendars that I have. So
what are we ever talking about?
Huh? What are we ever talking about?
I'm leading you into your story here.
Gotcha. Thank you. So Friday, how do we want to start this? My posted calendar schedule for the week was Wiseman from 11 to 7. I was planning on not working on the truck that day and getting caught up on some other stuff, such as the taxes, and we've had a bunch of new weddings booked and getting everything straightened away for those invoices and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was a catch-up day for me on stuff.
Sure, of course.
So
you need those every once in a while.
Yeah, I had to do a little shopping for Chris, and I had to drop some meat off to him. As I'm in the checkout line at GFS, I get a message from Chris saying, "Hey, the bigger of the 2 generators won't start, and I can't get power from the other one at all." I said, "Okay, I'm checking out. I will be there as soon as I can." By the time I got there, he'd gotten the lights and stuff on, and he was running most things off the little generator. The only reason we have 2 is to limit the amount of load so they can share the load a little bit easier. So we were running a Champion 4500 and a Champion 5500 on a parallel kit.
Mm-hmm.
Works great. I've always been happy with the Champion generators. They're quiet. My biggest complaint with them was their dipsticks, before the oil kept breaking. So they were just plugs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we never knew how much oil was in them until they stopped running because there was no oil in them. Or they wouldn't start because there was no oil. Anyways, so you had that kind of working. I am fiddling around with the other. Oh, forgot this one important part. We had a paid health inspection scheduled for that day at about 12:15. So while we could run most things off the little generator, we couldn't run everything, including our steam table. So I run inside to the very nice guys at Wiseman and asked them if... No, I did not do that first. First, I ran to Harbor Freight to go pick up a Predator 9500 because everybody loves them, blah, 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 blah. So to solve all the problems, we'll get it running. Got it back to the truck. Had the kid get everything ready on that while I helped Chris try to manage what we got going on in the truck. Oh, I did go in and get his extension cord while the kid was unboxing the behemoth. So I ran an extension cord from one of the 110 outlets on the Little Champion to be able to plug in the steam table, just so we can get that rolling. So as we get the Predator fired up, I start looking at the plugs. Did not realize that there was no 30 amp or 50 amp RV plug on those.
Correct.
Yeah.
It does come with a 30 amp adapter, though.
Sure.
Anyway, a 30 amp twist lock, because they're both twist locks.
Yeah, but there's not like it's wired. You have to wire the thing.
I know.
Yeah. It was an empty plug with no wire. I had to wire it if I wanted to use it.
There's no wire.
I will shoot you a picture of the box I got. It was just a plug head. That's all that came in the box. There was 3 different plug heads in the box.
Oh, okay, correct. Yes, but that plugs into your normal shoreline. That plugs into your shoreline. Your normal power cord.
No. There's nothing on the other end. There's only a male end and then an empty hole on the other side.
An empty hole.
Yes, where a wire would go to plug into the.
So there's no plug. So there's no male or female plug.
No.
All it is an adapter from a female 30 amp would plug into it. Okay, I'd love to see it.
I know what an adapter is. I will send you a picture of what was in my box. I have it in the front seat of my truck.
Okay.
I'm not a fucking idiot.
I'm not saying you are. My apologies.
Yes. Thank you, Justin. Josh is right. No. Show me the other end of that. Show me the other end.
Well, this is a different one, but...
Yeah. So it's that, but there's nothing on the other end. So Justin says, Josh is right. It's just the end. You have to wire it. We had to go to an RV store to get an adapter. I ran into mine and they didn't have it. He says, welcome to Team 9500. I hate this team.
The team is great. I've got almost 1,500 hours on mine.
I hate this team.
This team is awesome. It's a great team to be a part of.
So as we start plugging stuff in via additional extension cords into the other 110s on the Predator, because we don't have the appropriate adapters with us, Chris says the only thing that came on was the refrigerator, and then it turned off. Yep. So none of the other lights came on, so clearly something got surged or whatever, and we lost our stand-up refrigerator. So adding that into injury into insult or whatever.
Insult to injury.
Thank you. So off to the RV store I go to get a 110 to 30 amp adapter. Or 30 amp to 50 amp. So yeah, 110 on one side and a 50 amp on the other side. If we're all connecting all these dots, just so I can get some power and lights and water heater on the trailer, so we can maybe get through an inspection with everything powered. Outside if we don't have a refrigerator. So as I run to our restaurant supply place, that is an actual commercial restaurant equipment supply place, I email our health inspector. Or no, this was when I was getting back from the RV. So I emailed our health inspector, said, hey, here's what's going on. Give me a call if we can just kind of push this back a little bit. Which the email he didn't get. So as we're getting stuff plugged in, he walks up. He says, so how's it going? I said, did you not get my email? He's like, no. I said, okay, well, here's what we got going on. I don't know what you want to do about this, but so he came on. We walked through everything. The fridge was, as long as you don't open those things 1,000 times, they're going to hold temperature really well.
Did you tell him it was off?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I know. I just wanted to know.
He's a good guy, and he's not looking to shut anybody down. There's nothing that we need to go in and out of that fridge for. on the regular, so we can leave it closed. And really, the only thing perishable in there that has to be refrigerated is our meat for the next day.
Yeah.
So, and he temped that. Like, we went in and temped it to make sure everything was holding properly. He went through all the rest of the stuff. He says, do you think you're going to be able to get a fridge today? I said, I'm almost positive I can. He said, just shoot me a picture of the LED when you have it on and when it's up to temp. He said, I'll get the rest of the paperwork through and we'll be good.
So you went home and took a picture of the one that's in your garage?
No.
I mean,
so
of course not.
After dropping the $2,000 on the new Predator 9500,
cheap one.
I ran to, it was on sale.
Awesome.
I ran to whatever the restaurant supplies place is that's 15 minutes away. Walked through their 7 different single door commercial refrigerators that they had in stock. Picked one up, threw it in the back of the pickup truck, drove the 15 miles. I had told Chris to start getting the other one unhooked from the wall. Slid that one out, slid this one in. Bob's your uncle. So, yeah.
That's a new fridge.
So we had to get rid of the old fridge because they're long enough that I wouldn't have been able to hook up the trailer. Like,
I know.
They had to get it out. Yeah. So I spent the rest of my day running back and forth. I left it up to Chris and Caleb to get the new one attached in the same fashion that the old one was attached. Apparently was my error.
Oh boy.
So it was attached to the wall.
Okay.
Probably not the greatest. But it worked. Everything was fine. Made it home without it moving.
Oh boy.
But I spent, I don't know, probably 4 hours driving back and forth between places, switching out vehicles and switching out stock. And mind you, because I still had the personal vehicle still had a carload full of a GFS order. Well, I'm trying to manage that. But hey, we almost sold out. That was one of our almost sellout days. So by the time we got open, and yeah, not our first time running minimal power at Wiseman, where we've had equipment go out and generators break.
And why are you not running a propane steam table?
Because I didn't want to use propane, because electricity is cheaper than propane.
Okay.
And more efficient.
I mean, okay.
Yes, Stevie Wonder?
I don't know if that's, I mean, as far as cost goes, maybe that's probably true. But as far as if you have a power problem, your steam table's still rolling.
I know, but I'm still effed. It's not like I can just run with just my steam table. I have a whole warming cabinet that keeps food hot.
I completely understand that.
I wouldn't have been any less fucked.
Could have still opened for business.
We did.
Oh, okay.
We just pulled stuff out of the warming cabinet to sell instead of using the steam table. So we're opening the warming cabinet 4,000 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we make do. I mean,
figure it out.
I prefer the electric ones. I want less flames in my trailer than more.
Sure.
First of all, it makes fire approval a whole lot easier.
It does.
That we have 0 flames inside of our trailer.
Like, I agree with that.
So, yeah, the only thing we have running on propane is our water heater, and our fire inspection took 3 seconds the last year.
Yes.
So, Steve says, how's the noise on that 9500? It says it's 68 decibels. It really isn't that bad. It is a little bit louder than the two Champions together. Our bigger issue was the next, because the first day we had it just on the parking lot. We didn't have it in the pickup truck. It was get it going as fast as we can. Then I had to move refrigerators on and off. So anyways,
it should mount right to your front area now.
I think I'm going to work on that. But right now it's in the back of the pickup truck because there hasn't been time so far. So the issue we had on Saturday, a couple issues. Saturday was an interesting day too. So I pull into Newego. The kid hadn't hooked up the battery in the frickin' Predator. So we started it on Friday. Not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I did not go back and redo the battery. I was going to do that today. I was just going to pull start it for the weekend. Not a huge deal. So I went and tried to pull start it, and it wouldn't pull. Like, it stopped halfway. Like,
what?
I know. So we had that on one of our champions, where the engine just locked up and you couldn't pull start it, and it didn't have an electric start. That's how we lost our first champion 2 years ago. So I'm immediately into panic mode again. I'm like, good God, here we go again. So I take off the side panel, hook up the battery, started it a little hard. It was pretty cold overnight. Started a little hard though, but fired up, and then kicked off about 5 minutes later. I was like, okay, started it again, fired right up, like immediately, and then immediately turned back off. And then I see the little red light flashing.
Which one? There's 3.
CO2.
The overload?
Nope.
Oh,
Carbon
yes.
monoxide.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I'm like,
Yes.
So the way we had it set up,
That
the
is
muffler was
very, very touchy.
so we had it set up. The exhaust was pointing to the side of the truck bed.
Yep.
So I turned it 90 degrees and then dropped the tailgate.
And it worked fine.
And it worked fine.
Yes.
But, so as we start packing up at the end of the day, we have like 5 minutes before we're closed. I closed the tailgate and it was 10 seconds. Like I hadn't even walked back to the door of the trailer.
I had to
I was
put.
like, are you fucking kidding me?
When I ran that in the back of my truck, I had to put it all the way to the cab, and then point it backwards for it to not and drop the tailgate. It needs like 5 feet of clearance.
I'm gonna just put a fan back there to circulate air while we're until I get it mounted on the trailer.
Yeah. I mounted mine. I took just 2 D-rings, bolted them down to the platform, and then just put 2 tie straps. Yeah, on each side, like on the handles on each side, and it doesn't move at all. So
and I like it's laid out in a way that's good that the exhaust will blow across the tongue, but you still have access to everything you need access to.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, Nuevo lunch was a pretty good lunch, and then we had a new location. Oh, geez, I forgot about Friday. We didn't finish Friday yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that.
The worst part of Friday. So as bad as this has all been so far for Friday, everybody, it gets worse.
And you're about what, $4,000 in the hole?
$4,500.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad everybody's keeping track. So
but you almost sold out. So I mean,
so it was like $1,400. We didn't bring a ton of food.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys wanted to keep a running tab of my day.
So sales, payroll, yeah, you're still about 4,500 old.
Yeah. Let's just call it even 25. Anyways, so as I'm making another trip back and forth to get vehicles in the right spots and refrigerators out, I get a phone call at 5:30. Hi, I was wondering if you were still planning on coming to our event. And that's exactly, it was silence. She's like at the Jennison Fieldhouse, and that part clicked for me. I was like, okay. I said, it was just stammering. I don't know what the first thing I said to her was. Other than I'm sorry.
What was the first thing that was going through your head?
Fuck.
Oh shit.
No, because it was a scramble to visualize my calendar. Like I knew I had the calendar because Chris also has access to that calendar. He looks at it, so he double checks all my weekly posts to make sure they're right. Because I have such a knack for having my eyes wander when I'm doing those. So Chris would have seen it. It wasn't on the online calendar, on our Google calendar. It was on my paper calendar, and that just hadn't. No, Chris didn't do anything wrong. Why do you keep saying Chris fucked up?
I love Chris. That's why.
Chris did nothing. Chris has zero control over what's on the calendar.
Chris, a good guy.
So it was in my paper calendar. That date never got transferred, which I'm still trying to figure out how it was possible, because before we opened, I went through week by week of my paper calendar and made sure everything was the same, both places. And somehow I still missed it. So it was an event at an elementary school, a family fun night type of thing. Figure probably about $1,000 in sales is what we lost out on. Not to mention a very disappointed host. They had another food truck, so there was supposed to be 2 food trucks there. Yeah, she was pretty understanding. Kind of gave her the rundown of what we were going through for the day. I told her, I said, it started at 4:30. So we were already an hour late at that point. I said, give me a couple minutes and let me text you back on what I can figure out here. So I called Chris real quick to see where we were at with food, because the event went until 9:30. So if we could still get there by 6:30, we could still give them a couple hours probably of service.
Mm-hmm.
They still had a parking spot for us. So I called Chris. I said, so what do you got left, bud? He's like, well, I got about a half a pan of pork. I said, okay. I said, what else? Says, and a pan and a half of mac and cheese. I said, okay. I guess we will not be going over there. So yeah, it was pretty awful. So I texted her back, let her know that we wouldn't be able to make it, but I would be happy to provide the school staff there with a free lunch. So we're working on that. We're going to do a little buffet lunch for them on the house, to try to provide some goodwill and save some face there. So, what she was all on board for, she reached out to me yesterday. Said, really appreciate your offer. Thank you for everything. And we understand, that sometimes stuff happens. And so she was very understanding. And we're just going to work out if we're going to do box lunches for them, or if we're going to do like a little buffet setup. So, it's not going to be anything huge. Pork and some mac and cheese probably, and maybe something else, but it'll go a long ways with repairing that relationship. So that was the end of Friday. For the first time in a long time, I was ready not to do this business anymore. That was by far the worst day we'd had ever. We've had some bad days. We've had days where equipment breaks. We've had to close shop because equipment's down. We've missed multiple days because equipment's been down. This was the worst day, and it was mostly because of the event. We've never missed an event. We've never canceled an event unless we've had major mechanical issues. Even then, it's a day or two ahead of time that we're able to do that. But that has been my biggest fear since we started catering, is that we're gonna miss a wedding. Like, we're gonna get a phone call from a wedding.
Oh yeah, that's been
I'm terrified of it.
I'm equally.
It keeps me up at night. That's the one thing about this business right now that keeps me up, is that something's gonna get missed like that, and we're gonna ruin somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
So over the next couple of days, I will be going through all my emails, going through all the text messages and Facebook messages and both calendars, all the invoices we have out right now. Speaking of that, I got one more thing about Friday. We weren't done yet for Friday. Wait, there's more. And making sure everything's kosher everywhere. So after all that,
Friday.
After all that, as I pull into my driveway, I get a message from one of our booked weddings saying, I'm sorry, but I need to cancel. Because we broke up. So at least it wasn't because we heard how you guys missed an event and F you.
Yeah, they weren't part of the association or whatever that you were supposed to be at. Yeah.
But still, it's like, God, what else can happen? Let's just get to tomorrow. And then, I wake up and I have the pole issue with the generator. We pull, so back to Saturday, we leave Newaygo. We have a new winery in Holland, called Tanglewood. I have to stop for gas about halfway. I get out, and as I customarily do, I make sure everything looks good. I noticed the smoker temperature had dropped a little bit because I can see it on my phone. So I walk back there just to make sure that there's not a backup of ash or anything. And so shake the pan or whatever. I get back there and I notice that the wire that connects from my fireboard to the Pit Boss fan is just dangling there and not attached to the fan. So I'm like, all right. So, okay. So we're going through this. So it happens a lot. I usually have extra fans just because this has happened about once a year to me. That fan was put on late last year. So I had no reason to believe that it was going to go that quick. So,
you can take it apart and solder it.
Yeah, I could. I'll leave it for you to be able to solder. Right. Inactivity detected. What? Apparently we're not being active enough on our... There we go. Hello.
no. I don't know how we're not being active enough.
Oh, because I actually have to have the mouse on the screen every once in a while.
Oh,